Hello there. Welcome to my channel. Cerise here, and this is story time. Wow, guys, this story time is twisted like all of them, but this one is about deceit and revenge like all of them. All right, let's get down to basics. I'm going to pour my coffee right now. There we go. Now we're going to sit down and we're going to get comfortable. Get yourself a drink too and listen in. I'm looking forward to your comments down below. This is not the first time I've heard a story like this. It's actually my second time. When I was living in Canada, someone sent me a story similar to this one. All right. So this is how it begins. There is a woman, and we're going to call her Leanne. And then there is her boss, and we're going to call him Casey. So Leanne and Casey, they've been working together for a while. Leanne is 32 years old. She dedicated most of her life to Casey. She works in a fertility clinic. Yes, and this story takes place in a fertility clinic. And let's just get to it. So Casey treated Leanne so well. From the moment he hired her, he felt like she was someone that had enough respect for the industry and enough experience and knowledge that she was going to help turn his clinic into an amazing place for people that were seeking fertility. And it was a very good choice hiring her. But then the world changed. And when the world changed recently, Leanne did not want to get the special medicine, if you will. But Casey, his daughter, got what was going around. And his daughter was 25 years old, and his daughter passed away. So Casey was very, very adamant that all his employees have to take that medicine. So when the medicine came out a few months ago, Casey told all the employees that it is going to be a must for everyone to get that medicine. And if those people that choose not to get the medicine don't want to, then they may lose their employment. So, Leanne became Casey's advocate. Leanne didn't want the medicine at all, but because Leanne respected Casey and respected Casey's family and loved Casey for treating her good all those years, Leanne went and got the medicine as well. After Leanne got the medicine, she encouraged, we could say enticed, 3 other employees at the clinic to also go get their medicine. And they did. But they were fine. Leanne wasn't. Now, Leanne, she wanted to have babies herself. She really did. She was 32 years old, never had a mate. And so Casey said to her, hey, look, if you want a donor and you want to have a baby, I will help you. I will help you out. And the deal was that if she didn't find a man by the time she was 35 to marry and settle down with, then Casey would pay for everything. He would buy her a home, and he would let her take a 2-year leave from the clinic to raise her own child. That was a promise he made her. So, of course, at 32, she only had 3 more years before she was able to have her child if she didn't meet a man to marry. So she really did want to make sure that she made Casey happy. But when she got that medicine, all of a sudden, her periods stopped. It was like she went into immediate menopause. She didn't know at first what was going on. 1 month passed because she was, let me back up a little bit. She was one of the first people that went in and got the medicine. Okay, so 1 month passed, no period. And she was thinking to herself, okay, maybe it has to do with that medicine. But then she started to faint a lot. And then she started to sleep a lot more. And then she started to have vertigo. And she knew it all had to do with the medicine. She felt. She couldn't confirm it, but she felt. So she turned around and she said to Casey, listen, I think I'm going to have to take a few weeks off of work. I'm not feeling myself. And, did you get any effects from the medicine? And Casey said, no, once you told me that, you've been getting dizzy and all those effects, I decided not to go get the medicine. And she said, what? So why did you tell me to go get it? And he said, well, I was expecting you to get it and then you tell me what it's like. She said, so you were using me as your guinea pig? And he said, no, it's just that you're around our clients a lot more than I am. I'm rarely in the clinic. I didn't think that I had to get it. And I thought it was more important for you to get it. You're the one that runs the clinic anyway. And so, of course, Leanne was very angry, very upset. Another month passed, no period. Another month passed, no period. So now, not only did she have no period, she's losing her hair, her nails are brittle, and she doesn't know what it is. And she goes to the doctor over and over, and the doctor keeps telling her it's just her system and it's not effects from any medicine. Okay. So then, all of a sudden, she has to go in for an emergency hysterectomy. And when they looked at her uterus, it was just black as coal. She didn't know what it was from. They said to her that she had to have a complete hysterectomy. And then, on top of that, they told her that it was maybe a rare, very rare cancer. So she became very angry at this point because she had no more eggs, no more reproductive women, cells inside of her there. And that organ was gone. And she knew within herself that if it wasn't her own child, she was never going to adopt, and she was never going to be able to have her own child. She sat down with Casey and she asked him, she said, remember when you told me you're going to give me the 2 years off when I'm 35 years old to have a baby? Well, that's not going to happen. And I was hoping you could give me the 2 years off now just so I can settle and be with myself and collect my thoughts. And she told him exactly what went on. And he said to her, listen, I think the best thing for you right now is to work, not to be with yourself and be by yourself. And she said, no, I want to go to the Dominican Republic and I just want to stay there for 2 years. I've been watching a lot of vloggers, hence the reason why she found me. She said, I've been watching a lot of vloggers and I've been seeing that it is possible for me to go down there and just repair whatever is going on in my body and just settle my mind. And he said to her, no, I need you more than ever right now. There's employees, like most of the employees quit with a month ago. Most of the employees, and there was only 2 employees left aside from her, because 3 other employees took the medicine, but 1 employee decided to take off because she sold everything, met a new man, sold everything, and moved to where he lived. And that was it. And he said, we don't have a lot of manpower at the clinic and I need you more than anything right now, please. He's like, if I can promise you, and 2 years from now, I'll give you 3 years break and I'll give you 1 year of pay. And right now, I will up your pay, but I need you for manpower. And he would not allow her to leave. And if she left, she would have to quit. And so she had no big savings or anything, so she had to stay on the job. Imagine that. giving people babies every single day, taking people's eggs, doing all that for people, for other women and other men, families. And she's remembering her own hysterectomy every single second of the day. She started to have nightmares. She wasn't able to sleep any longer. She didn't know why her body turned on her. She could only assume that it was due to the medicine, but again, it was only an assumption. And her doctor kept telling her that it was something that was dormant inside of her body all that time, and it had nothing to do with that recent medicine, and that it just was the timing. And she was angry, and she was very resentful, and she wanted to take revenge. So what did she do to Casey? She started to switch the eggs and the vials. Yes, she did. Now, blood work that was done, eggs that were taken, she was just putting them in any bag, any file. She didn't even care any longer. She wasn't documenting the right names, and she was just mixing up people's eggs and sperms. Yes, she was. And she was doing it deliberately. So, for instance, if an African American couple went in, she would make sure that the Caucasian couple got those eggs. And she was just mixing up, making babies biracial, making babies, giving black couples Caucasian like sperm and egg samples. It was a mess. It was a mess, and it still has not been figured out at all. There was no rhyme and reason. Some of them she didn't mess up. Some of them she did. It depended on what mood she was in. And so finally she went up to Casey and she told him. She told on herself and she said, "You know what? I want to tell you something that I've been doing." And he was like, "What?" He arrived at the clinic that day and she said, "Well, come on to the back. Let me show you a few things." And she showed him a few of the files, and she showed him that she was not keeping notes the way she used to, and she wasn't, because she was very strategic with her notes. She was even in a file, she would even talk about the first initial intake with the people, what they were wearing and what their personalities were like. She would sit down with them. For instance, if you wanted a baby, you and your husband or your wife would go into the initial interview. You would sit down with her. She would give you a coffee or a beverage of some kind, and she would say, "All right, tell me about yourself." It was very, very detailed, the way she would do her intake. She wasn't doing that any longer, and she showed Casey. And Casey said, "Why did you stop doing that?" And she said, "Because I no longer have any interest." And he said, "Okay, all right." And then she said, "And there's something else that I've done as well. You might find it very unique." And he's like, "Okay." And she said, "You see this, the all these samples and all this right here and all that? I don't know what's going on with each person. I don't know whose baby this is going to be, and I don't know who those eggs belong to. I don't know anything that's going on in this laboratory at all, except that it is a big ball of confusion." Well, some of those people have already been inserted with eggs that were not their own. Yes, some of those women were given sperm from a man that was not their husband. Could you imagine? It was just, like she said, a ball of confusion. But this is what she did in a very short amount of time. Now Casey, thinks it's because of the medicine. He's like, "You've gone crazy." He doesn't know what to do. So obviously he had to have her imprisoned. Obviously he had to have her charged. And the charges are now pending. But it is a big cover-up, and they do not know how to tell the people that were impregnated by sperm that is not of their husband, or with eggs that are not their own. So now this is going on, and it is all undercover, Nobody knows how it's happening, why it's happening, or when it will end. But some people right now are pregnant with children that are not their own. Guys, I just want to tell you, be careful. If you have an employee that is angry at you or that wants to take revenge because of a situation that you put them through, then make sure that you are kind to your employees, especially at a time like this. People are not really taking kindly to being forced to do things. And if they have any type of backlash or any type of health issue due to that special medicine that's out, some people are going to take revenge on their employers. So please be careful out there, and please be tender with your employees. Right now, Leanne is in jail. She was not given bail. She is just going crazy in her cell. They have her in solitary confinement, and they are trying to work everything that they can out in the lab. They're trying to figure things out, but there's not much that they can do. Doctor himself, Dr. KC, right now he is in a state of confusion. He's in a state of fear. He's not being blamed, but he is going to be sued big time. And I guess he's fortunate that he has insurance for that, but I don't know what else to say. It seems like a crazy story out of the universe, but hey, this is what is going to start happening with a lot of people that are being forced to take that medicine. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me, Cerise, and this is Story Time. Leave your comments down below.